Hey there friends, welcome back for yet another special edition FlossTube video here on my channel. Yesterday I brought you a special edition video featuring all of my mom, Kathy Barrick's new releases for Needlework Expo. Today I bring you mine, better late than never. I'm so sorry that you guys have had to wait, but I have been very impatiently wanting to share these items with you. I originally intended to have 5 new designs for Needlework Expo, but something has not been delivered yet. So I am bumping it back to 4, saving that 5th item for my next set of releases, and it gives us something to look forward to. My name is Liz, my company is Hello from Liz Mathews, and I am excited to spend some time with you today in my living room. I am standing today. I apologize in advance for having to pop off screen for things if I get a little antsy because I'm so excited. You'll see why I need to stand in just a minute. But here are some things you need to know regarding my new releases today. These 4 designs are coming out at Needlework Expo next weekend. Needlework Expo is a virtual trade show open to shop owners with proper credentials only. So your favorite LNSs and your favorite ONSs will come shop with designers like me, place their orders, and get all of the design community's new pieces in their shop and forward it on to you. So if you see anything that you want to stitch, you feel like you need to stash here today, the way that you get it is by contacting your favorite shop and placing an order with them. They will get the items from me and you will get them from them. So a big thank you goes out to Janice Noteworthy Needle, who organized this virtual trade show Needlework Expo, because typically we would have Nashville Needlework Market, which would be an in-person show this time of year. It obviously had to be canceled for the year. So it's been so wonderful having something else fill in for this time of year when you want to connect with everybody. I do plan on doing some behind the scene things through my Instagram, which is Hello from Liz Mathews. If you want to follow me there, I'll show you kind of what I can about Needlework Expo and share the excitement with you there. Also, I wanted to share with you that when you are watching this, a newsletter has been slid into your email inbox with all of the details about these 4 new releases. So not only will I have the information in the description box of this video below, down here, I will also include it in the newsletter, which is in your email inbox right now. Okay, without further ado, let's get started. I'm starting with the biggie. The mystery piece, the one that you guys have been like, what is this linen for? We've talked about the linen in my FlossTube videos for the past couple months, so now I'm going to show it to you. Be prepared, you might wobble a little bit, you'll see why in a second. Okay. That's a lot of wobbling, sorry. I'm not restarting. This is the Engravers Chart. This is why I have to stand up for you today. There it is. This is all alphabets and numbers. I don't even think I'm tall enough to show you the whole darn thing. Yeah, I'm not. There you go. So the Engravers Chart is that mystery piece. I have been stitching on that oversized piece of linen, and I am obsessed with it. I hope you like it too. I designed this piece. The design actually came to me in a dream. I know when I say that, every time you're probably like, that's crazy. But it came to me in a dream, and I knew I had to try to replicate it. You guys quite often have asked me for letters, charting of letters in different fonts for some of my designs, and I always thought that was a great idea, but felt like it needed to be more. So this is what my subconscious brain created for you. It reminds me of like old alphabet charts that you would see in schools. Like you pull down the map, you pull down the alphabet chart. That's what it reminds me of. And I am so pleased with this guy. arm's getting tired. Let me give you the details on this. Right off the bat, on the back of the pattern, I state that this is not only intended to be finished as you see. I mean, it's an undertaking, you guys, I'll be honest. But this is also meant to be a tool, because in this chart pack, you have 10 different alphabets charted in 10 different fonts, as well as 2 sets of numbers. And then can you see there's a heart on the number side. There's a heart, there's a couple different symbols, there's an and sign. So you can use this chart to personalize anything you want. I just thought it would be a fun and unique way to get this to you. I gotta put it down. My arms are losing blood. This is why I did this. Okay, so the alphabet chart includes 10 full alphabets, 2 sets of numbers, and a few fun little motifs like that heart that I was telling you about. It was stitched on 40 count R&R reproduction linen in the colorway Stars Hollow. R&R linen is perfect for this piece. You guys saw how I struggled with the white chote linen that was just far too stiff, and now you know why enjoying that stitch was so important, because this is not a little stitch. This is not a little bit of time. This was dedication. So finding the proper linen was really important to me. R&R is perfect. It's very, the weave is on the tighter side and it's a thicker linen, which makes it ideal for a chart-like finishing. I cannot recommend it enough. I stitched mine on 40 count. I used 1 strand of Gloriana thread over 2 threads of linen. I used coffee bean colored Gloriana thread. This is like the best. And it is just one color. It is monochromatic. If you would not like to use Gloriana, the DMC alternative, which I include on every chart I ever publish, is 3371. Okay. At the end of this video, I have a lot of helpful hints for you on how to stitch that if you choose, but I don't want to take your time up now. So stay tuned to the end of this video. If you think it's something that you would like to do, I will share all of the information for you on that and all my helpful hints. As far as framing goes, okay, this is when the ducking happens. As far as framing goes, you can see I finished my chart with 2 strips of antique wood that I affixed it to, but I realized that that's not something everybody has access to. So here's your solution. And in all honesty, I wish I would have used this because they are so darn cool and so darn easy. These are poster hanging frames. I got this on Amazon. I will put the link in the description box below, and I share the information on the back of the chart. I tell you exactly what to search for. But what this is the top and the bottom. This is wood, and you guys check this out. It's magnets. There's 2 magnets on each side. Boom! So much easier than what I did. So again, I will put the link in there. I got a smaller size because this is far more manageable to show on a floss tube than the 22 inches I would need for this. But you can get these in all sorts of sizes. Could not be easier. And they're strong. So that is a quick way to finish the Engravers chart if you choose to do the chart look like I did. Okay, so stay tuned at the end for more pointers and tips on stitching that. I will let you know that the stitch count is a 379 wide by 519 high. It's big. But what's really nice about this piece, aside from being able to use the fonts in a variety of different pieces, in a variety of different ways, is you could really get creative and spell words out. Like my thought was like the name Jack. You could do a line of J-A-C-K and just stitch those letters and get really creative. So anyway, that's what I was thinking with that. That is Engravers Chart, available at Needlework Expo next week. Okay, let me situate myself. We're gonna stay with the larger pieces. Actually, all 4 of mine are on the larger side, but let me show you real quick. I did print these off. This is what the Engravers Chart pattern pack cover looks like. Okay? All right. We are moving on to the Dutch Sampler Collection. Okay. This is not a lone sampler. This is a collection of pieces that was inspired by an antique piece I purchased. May I show you? My forehead. All right. Sorry guys, things are a little bit precarious. Thanks for sticking with me. This is an antique piece I purchased that I fell in love with. There are fabulous motifs on here and I knew I had to reproduce it. So let me show you what I did. It's another big one. This is the Dutch reproduction sampler. This is one of 3 pieces included in the Dutch sampler collection. It's just one. This piece was beautifully stitched by Stacy Walker. Didn't she do an amazing job? Like, this was an undertaking. I wish I would have noted how many days it took her to finish this. I bet Stacy knows, but look at this, you guys. Let me give you a close-up. Look at all of those beautiful motifs. And as I always do, I stayed very true to the colors that were in the faded antique piece that I purchased. I like to just replicate as similarly as possible to the original. So this is the Dutch reproduction sampler, piece number 1. Now, should you look at that and think, oh my word, there is no way, no way. Don't worry, I got you covered. I took some of my favorite motifs from that oversized piece and created a smaller version. So while this is inspired by the antique piece, this is an original. And you can see what I chose there. Just some of my favorite things in a more manageable, more quick stitch if that other piece just is overwhelming to you. This is also included in the collection. It's all one chart pack for this. Okay, so there's those guys. There's more. Excuse me. Okay. Did you see the daisies that were on there? The little daisy motifs? It is one of my favorites. So I charted the daisies as an even smaller mini sampler. So this was finished as a little sewing sampler roll by the one and only Carmen Sutton. And she did a beautiful job, of course. But this little sampler just features 6 daisies and an alphabet. The reason I want to point out that there's an alphabet is because the large oversized Dutch reproduction piece has a lot of initials throughout, and I wanted you to be able to personalize it with whatever initials you prefer. So you can grab the letters from this piece and do with them what you will. But this daisy sampler, this is called the daisy sampler, is also included in that chart pack. And one more thing I have to show you. is, you've heard me talk now about all the beautiful motifs that are in that antique piece. And I thought they were too good to pass up. So I have got a basket full of smalls that are just some of my favorite little pieces of that large sampler. All of these were lovingly stitched by Joanna Roberts and framed by Carmen Sutton. Beautiful, beautiful job, you guys. Thank you so much. So this is that center motif. It's smack dab in the middle of the reproduction. And I just love it. That little polka dot heart with all of the birds surrounding it. So sweet. So all of these, they're not charted individually. They're just excerpts from that big chart. Look at this. That sweet little flower basket with those springtime flowers. I loved that motif so much. I'm not sure if you noticed, but the roosters, the striped roosters, how fun is that? Carmen finished this as a sewing roll with velvet on the edges. It's just gorgeous. And then I saved my two favorite for last. Check this out, you guys. This is just one of those decorative berry bowls, but finished as this beautiful piece. I'm sorry, I don't know what this is actually called. I'll put it in the description box. Look at that. Look at how cool that is. Just love it. And then are you ready? This is a motif. It's in 2 spots on the sampler. Probably, I think I've said my favorite motif about 4 times already. Wait till you see this. Look at this. How sweet is that? You could absolutely do one of these yourself. It's velvet backed with a little bow, pins on the edges, and all of these were done just by picking and choosing your favorite, my favorite little spot of the big sampler and working them in a smaller way. Don't feel like you have to work anything as a whole. Make it your own, make it manageable, and make it something you love. This smalls collection, I shared it on Instagram yesterday. I think you guys quite like it. Okay, and I'm so excited to share with you this whole collection. This is a big chart. This is an 18-page chart, but you get a lot of options there. So I hope that you enjoy it. Let me give you the details. I want to hold this up for you while I chat about it because it's just such eye candy. There are those roosters, those flower baskets, the daisies like dot the top. This is a Dutch maiden of Holland. So this is a Dutch sampler. It has a lot of really traditional Dutch motifs in it. And this was kind of a personification of Holland, is what I understand through my research last night. But I hope that you like it. Okay, here are the details. There's a lot of them. So again, I will put all of this in the description box below. The Dutch reproduction sampler is on 40-count cottage stone linen from Color and Cotton. Stacy used needlepoint silk to stitch this. It is 100% cross stitches. There is always that DMC conversion. The stitch count on this is 383 wide by 403 high. There are 38,553 stitches in this piece. The Daisy sampler, which was the roll with the alphabet, was stitched on 40-count winter brew linen from R&R Reproductions. I used 1 strand of needlepoint silk thread over 2 threads of linen. It is 163 wide by 124 high. There are 4,341 stitches in that. And then Flower Fields, which was the original interpretation in smaller format of this piece, is stitched on 40-count cottage stone linen from Color and Cotton as well. I used 1 strand of needlepoint silk thread over 2 threads of linen. It is 212 stitches wide by 194 stitches high. There are 10,608 stitches total in the smaller version. I would say that I got off easy compared to what Stacy had to stitch, but she said it was very enjoyable, and I hope that you find the same thing to be true. One more thing that I want to point out, oh my goodness, is that you do not need all of the thread colors called for in this piece to stitch Flower Field. Did I mention the smaller original version of this is called Flower Field? You do not need all of the threads that you need to stitch this to complete Flower Field and the Daisy Sampler. And I made note of that on the chart so that you're not overbuying. I don't want you, I mean, God forbid you overbuy thread and floss, right? That would be a tragedy. But I did notate it on the back of the chart so that you can buy efficiently. Okay, I think that's what I had to share on that one. Again, you get all 3 charts and, you know, the charting for all of those gorgeous smalls in the Dutch Sampler collection coming soon. Okay, moving right along. We are, oh, let me show you what that cover looks like. The Dutch collection, again, has 18 pages. This is the front cover of the chart, and the back has a picture as well. So there's 2 cardstock photo pages within that chart pack. All right, moving on. Ooh, this is gonna be a long video. We have Gather Here. This model was stitched beautifully by my friend Tiffany. You know her on FlossTube as Tiff and Stitches, and she did a wonderful job stitching Gather Here. There it is. I just love this piece. This was inspired by, can you see, antique wood cutting. And then I chose to add the text, Gather Here. I kept it a little funky to make this piece interesting and fun, and I hope that you like it. This is just a monochromatic, simple, elegant piece stitched on 36 count aged paper linen from Color and Cotton. I'll get you closer. It's stitched 2/2 cross stitches throughout. It is stitched with the Thread Gatherer Silk and Color silk thread in the colorway Smokestack. Alternatively, DMC 3799 could be used. This stitch count is 283 wide by 122 high. There are 5,509 stitches in this piece. All of that information will be in the description box below, but this is Gather Here. Thank you, Tiffany, for stitching this piece. All right, I've got one more for you. Are you ready? I have shared sneak peeks of this. I always forget this part. Here is the cover sheet for Gather Here. All right, the last one is called Butterfly Cloche. Let me share it with you. Here it is. Butterfly Cloche was beautifully stitched by my dear friend Kia Bandy. She did an amazing job. And this was inspired by the glass cloches you see with old specimens in them that I am just particularly attracted to. Many years ago when I was designing embroidery patterns, I also did a butterfly cloche pattern similar to this. I will put it on my Instagram if you're interested, but I just really wanted to rework it and bring something like this to the market again. So here we have Butterfly Cloche. Let me give you the details and then we'll talk about the accessories that go with this piece. Butterfly cloche is stitched on 40 count bramble linen from Picture This Plus using 1 strand of needlepoint silk thread over 2 threads of linen. It is worked entirely in cross stitch with the exception of the antenna for each butterfly. It is done in long back stitches. The stitch count is 171 wide by 191 high. There are 3,376 stitches in this piece. There you go. What I love about this piece is that you could, as I have, let me grab them. You can take the butterflies and stitch them separately as smalls as well. You're kind of sensing a theme with all of these oversized pieces I did. I didn't want anybody to feel like it was too much or too daunting. I wanted everybody to be able to pick and choose pieces of what inspires them. So let me show you. That was a full disappear off camera. What I did is create little paperweights of the individual butterflies. So this is stitched butterflies under glass, and I'll tell you how I did that in just a second. But this is just a great example of how you can pick and choose the pieces you like of each pattern. So all I did was stitch the butterfly on some remnant linen I had, cut it out, and back this piece with felt so it's smooth and doesn't scratch anything. But get creative with that. There are so many things that you could do with a little stitched butterfly. If you are interested in how I did these, I found at an antique store a glass paperweight. This is one that I have not deconstructed yet. Usually there's like a black and white postcard or photograph under there. This is a man riding a horse. And typically it's very easy to get the backing off. I just hadn't done it yet with this guy because I wanted to show you. You can soak it in soapy water. Sometimes you can, like this, I'm literally, well, there you go. There you go. Now I could soak this gunk off with soapy water and then back it with my stitched piece. These are generally in my area pretty affordable. I got this for $5. So be on the lookout for those. I certainly will be, but that's just one finishing option for you. So this is Butterfly Cloche from Liz Mathews, sampler and smalls. And I do believe I shared all of the information on that with you already. Let me show you the cover, and then, so sorry, so weird. This is the cover of Butterfly Cloche. So it was a very fun layout to do, and I very much like this piece. So with that, you have my 4 new releases for Needlework Expo. Description below, information in your email inbox right now. I hope that you like them. Please let me know what you think. Let me know what your favorites are. Let me know all the things. I just love chatting with you. I will be on, tonight is Friday when I'm posting this. I don't know what number day it is. I've lost track. But I will be on my social media tonight connecting with you guys. I really want to chat with you and hear what you think. So please let me know. Look for me in my YouTube comments and on Instagram, and I will also be on Facebook. I always forget about Facebook, but I'll be there too. So thank you so much for watching. If you would like some pointers on Engravers Chart, stay tuned. Otherwise, I will see you for the next video, you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so I have some pointers for you if you decide to stitch Engravers Chart as I have. Here's a little secret. I did a lot of carrying on this piece. I know that way of stitching is not going to be for everybody, and some of you guys are very displeased with me to hear that right now, but you guys, it saved me so much sanity. When I first started, I was clipping my threads after each letter and I was losing my mind because there's a lot of letters here and it's just so big, and you're like, I stitch in hand doing the sewing method, so it was a lot of maneuvering and I couldn't do it anymore. So I carried my thread from letter to letter. I know. It did cause me to use more thread. Shoot, I should have said, and I did put it on the back of the chart, that I needed 2 skeins of the thread, the Gloriana thread, to finish this piece. And I might not have if I hadn't carried, but it was for my sanity. So if you're worried about that because it is a dark thread on a light linen, here is my solution. Genius, light bulb moment. I backed it with dark brown thread, which made all of my carrying disappear. It's like I didn't even do it. So again, this is just how I chose to do it. That might not be your style. I am not I consider myself a novice stitcher. You guys might not choose to do it that way. Do it however you would like, but that's just one pointer I had for you. Also, I stitched from the bottom right across the bottom and then up. And the reason I did that is for counting's sake. You are going to be counting a lot. And what I suggest you do is take the chart out, and before you even start, do all of your counting. I'll show you my working copy of the chart in just a second, so that you're not stopping and having to count, that you can just go with the flow. But I counted across the bottom first because they're wider spaces across and then up and down, and I got 1 row in. And then I went up from there because I want to say there's like 30 some spaces between this, and there's about like between 10 and 13 between each vertical letter. So the counting went more quickly, and that's just how I chose to do it. I guess I just try to be smart and efficient when stitching, but you guys, do it however you like. I want you to enjoy it. You do not need to follow any suggestions I ever give you. As long as you're loving it, I'm happy. So that's how I stitched across, up, carrying. I know. Okay, let me put this down. I'll show you my chart and you'll see what I mean. The chart for this is, I think it's 9 pages. It's a lot. And you can see, like every time I got to a new page, I spent time doing my counting, and that's what the colored numbers are here. And that just was very helpful to not have to stop and count between every single letter. So as I got to a new page, I did my counting, and you can see all of my counting is vertically because I had already done that. So just some tips and tricks for you. Please let me know if you have any questions. Happy to answer them. But that poster hanging frame, I definitely recommend. In fact, I probably would have used it if I had it before I did my framing. So those are some helpful tips for the Engravers chart. If I have any more, I will put them below. I'll share them on social media. I'm sure that I will be chatting about it in my next regular FlossTube video. I hope that you guys like it. Thank you for spending a lot of time with me today, way more time than I thought. I'll be back soon. Take care, and so long.